So some of you may know and some of you might not, but Julian Lewis is looking to be one of the best quarterback talents that we have seen coming out of high school in a while now. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm even a part of the problem. I end up hyping up a lot of these young QBs, but we have not seen, at least I haven't seen, a quarterback who is as well polished and well put together both fundamentally and technically than I have seen in Julian Lewis. Coming out of the class of 2026, which currently has no ranking system anywhere, so I honestly believe that Julian Lewis is going to very easily be the #1 recruit in the class of 2026 when those rankings do officially come out. He ended up leading his high school team. He plays for one of the best teams in the state of Georgia and ended up leading them very deep into the playoffs. Julian Lewis is a bona fide winner and already is a superstar, and he made a big impression this past weekend. Last weekend, Julian Lewis went to Steve Clarkson's The Quarterback Retreat, where he went with a ton of other of the top quarterback prospects in this year's, last year's, next year's, college quarterbacks, quarterbacks from all around the country of all skill levels came to this quarterback retreat to show their talent and to just get better overall. And even though Julian Lewis was probably one of the youngest, if not the youngest QBs there, he more than lived up to the hype surrounding his name. Here's what Julian had to say about being at the quarterback retreat. He said, "I'm excited to be out here. I really feel blessed with this opportunity. I'm honored to be surrounded by so many great quarterbacks and blessed that they felt enough of me to put me in the same group as them." Now, as you guys can see from the tape in the background, Julian Lewis is not your typical freshman quarterback. His fundamentals and his technique is on another level. He has above average arm strength. He doesn't have the strongest arm I've ever seen, but he's also a freshman. He has so much longer to get bigger and stronger to be able to throw the ball. But his just technique and the touch that he puts on the ball is just unimaginable that freshmen are able to look this well polished this early on. Now, Julian Lewis is not your typical freshman. He's going into his sophomore year, but it looks like he's already whittled down his college choices to 6 college programs. Now, he's been getting looked at by colleges since he was 8 and 9 years old. So he is more than used to this whole recruiting game, which is actually insane to really think about. Like, when you really think about it, like, think about you playing football at 8 and 9 years old, and then to have Nick Saban over there watching some of your games, like, absolutely insane. But it looks like these 6 schools that he has whittled down to is Alabama, Texas, USC, LSU, Georgia, and last but not least, Florida State. Now, this is massive because obviously Julian Lewis is going to be the #1 quarterback in the class of 2026, but because he is such a high-profile recruit, for him to already have his list whittled down to 6 schools is super impressive. And it's honestly, like, if you're one of these 6 schools, you should be very, very excited. And Julian Lewis actually had something to say about each of these 6 schools. Starting it off with Alabama, he says, "They look really good right now, and I'm just trying to build a good relationship with Coach Reese like I had with Coach O'Brien. Coach Reese is young and really easy to talk with, and I'm already very comfortable with him. I've been going to Bama for a long time and like their program a lot." For USC, Lewis said, "I had a really good visit to USC, and there's a lot to like about the school. You have that Cali lifestyle, and it's really nice out there. Coach Riley is obviously a great offensive mind and does a great job developing quarterbacks. I love the scenery and overall vibe there, and I'm definitely giving them a look." Julian said this about LSU, saying, "I've been to LSU multiple times and it's not far from home. I like Coach Sloan. I know him really well and we have built a good relationship. I like the direction Coach Kelly has the program going, and they just beat Bama last year, so you know they're going to make some noise in the SEC. For Florida State, he said, "I like it at FSU and first visited there when Jimbo Fisher was coaching. They do a nice job with quarterbacks. Coach Norville is very involved, and I talked with Coach Atkins and Coach T. Coach Atkins is my guy, and that's another program I think is going in the right direction." For the back-to-back national champion Georgia Bulldogs, he says, "Georgia is home for me, and I live about an hour away from Athens. It's the easiest school for me to get to, and I've been there a lot. Coach Bobo has been to our campus a few times, and they're recruiting me really hard. I had a good relationship with Coach Munkin, and now I'm just trying to build the same relationship with Coach Bobo. They have a great program, obviously, and I'm looking at them hard for sure." And for Texas, he says, "I like Coach Sark and have been talking to him for a long time. He was the quarterback coach at Bama when I used to visit, so I know what kind of offensive mind he has and what offense he likes to run. I think it's a great fit for me, for sure, and definitely knows what he's doing. I like the city of Austin a lot. They don't have an NFL team there, so Texas football is the biggest thing going, and I like that stage that they play on." Julian Lewis overall said, "I would love to have a top 5 or so, maybe even make my decision after my sophomore year. If I could lock it in early, that would be great for me and allow me to focus on football and get ready for college. There are a few schools that I know right now will be on my list when I do make the cut. Alabama, USC, Texas, and Georgia are all in there right now, so I'm just going to play things out and we'll see what happens." So Alabama, USC, Texas, and Georgia fans, y'all should be absolutely excited right now because Julian Lewis is looking to be one of the most promising and he might be the most complete quarterback that I've seen going into college since Trevor Lawrence, maybe he might even have to go back a little bit further than that. Julian Lewis, he's actually way more developed than Trevor Lawrence was coming out of high school. Trevor Lawrence just had one of the best just arms overall coming out of high school. Julian Lewis is a star in the making. He is 6'1", 180 pounds, so he has plenty of time to fill out that frame, maybe even get up to 6'2". If he is 6'3", near 200 pounds, and is able to run anywhere near the 4.6s, with that arm talent that he already has, Julian Lewis is going to be one of the most complete and one of the scariest quarterback prospects that we have seen coming out of high school in a long time. And I'm not just saying that like there's going to be some other quarterback prospect that comes in a year or two from now. I genuinely mean that this might be a generational talent that we see with Julian Lewis, but we're just going to have to wait and see how he develops. So all my Alabama, USC, Georgia, and Texas fans, y'all should be standing up and hitting that like button right now because the #1 player in 2026, I know it's a while away. I understand. I know it's kind of hard to get hyped up over a sophomore, but when you see what his tape looks like and you compare it to what other sophomore quarterbacks and what other hyped up quarterbacks coming out of high school are looking like, Julian Lewis is a step above them. So I think it is I think the hype is warranted, but you have to wait and see. We're gonna be covering Julian Lewis's entire high school and college career, and we're gonna see if he makes it all the way to the pros. But we're gonna be covering his whole story here on Sharpe Sports. So hit that subscribe button and turn your notifications so you do not miss when we cover Julian Lewis over here, as well as leave this video a like, comment down below what are your guys' thoughts on Julian Lewis and where do you think he should go play his college ball. I love and appreciate all y'all, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Ciao.